Well, good evening and welcome to On Tour as we look back at the fourth T20 International in the CJ Insurance Series between the West Indies and Australia. I'm Barry Wilkinson. Thank you so much for joining us. It was a night for the Mitches, Mitchell Marsh and Mitchell Starc. Wow, they certainly combined to put the West Indies to shame in the end, winning by just some 4 runs in a very close and exciting T20 International. Even though the West Indies have won the series, the Australians pulling one back 3-1 going into Friday's match, which starts, of course, just at the same time, 7:30 in St. Lucia. But let's rewind, wheel and come again and look at the meat of the match. Here's the scorecard. The Australians yet again winning the toss and deciding to bat first. They were going great guns, almost looking like they were going to score over 200. In the end, Hayden Walsh Jr. pulling things back 189 for 6, but it was Marsh who made 75 from 44. Great partnership he had with his captain, Aaron Finch, who made 53 from 37. Walsh was on a hat-trick at one stage. In the end, he finished with 3 for 27. He is bowling beautifully. One apiece there to O'Shane Thomas, Andre Russell, and Fabian Allen. When the West Indies batted, they got off to a very good start again. I think Simmons and Lewis undoubtedly the best combination. Simmons top scoring with 72 from 48, 10 fours and 2 sixes. Lewis chipping in with 31. But then we saw Fabian Allen with an explosive 29 from 14 balls, 3 sixes and 2 fours, joining Andrew Russell. They needed some 36 runs in 2 overs, and Fabian Allen and Russell actually smashed it all over the ground to bring it down to 11 from 1 over, and the West Indies just faltered at the tape. We'll tell you about it. We'll talk about it. Marsh, 3 for 24. Zampa, 2 for 20. But it was that last over by Mitchell Starc. He bowled fast, he bowled furious, he bowled effectively. Although he didn't pick up a wicket, he only conceded 4 runs for that last over as the West Indies lost by 4 runs in the end. Well, let's head straight to the panel. We've got an explosive panel for you tonight. Tino Best, along with Tony Gray, and we've added, just voted the Caribbean's #1 cricket journalist, the man from Trinidad and Tobago, Vinod Mamchan. We are so happy to have him. Gentlemen, let me start first of all with Vinod, who we haven't heard in the last 3 games. Vinod, why did the West Indies lose that game, in your opinion, this evening?
I think it was a case, good night firstly, Barry, to all the guys on the panel, and of course, the many viewers in the Caribbean. I thought there was a little bit of common sense in the end that could have gotten us over the line. Andre Russell in that final over, he should have taken the single from the very first delivery. When you're in a situation like that, you need to narrow it down, take it down low. It's just a final over, and Hayden Walsh is no slouch with the bat as well. But even if he was a slouch with the bat, I think an outside edge could have given us a boundary. He could have gotten Russell back on strike. It would have been a single less to get. So I thought a little bit of common sense, and we would have been over the ropes.
Do you agree with that, Tony Gray?
Yeah, I think that obviously the very good partnership between Marsh and his captain Finch was the foundation laid, a very good foundation for that huge score. And I say huge score in the context of the game, knowing that the pitch got worse for batting. It was inconsistent with pace and bounce. But I think that the partnership was developed because of poor bowling. I think that obviously up front, we didn't have the right tactical ploy. We bowled 3 fast bowlers against them. And we all know that the Australians like pace on the ball. So they had some very good momentum when the spinners came on. But a score of 189, a highly competitive score, and it proved to be a winning total.
Your take on the match, Tino Best?
Well, yeah, I mean, the way that the Australians came out, they don't want to get, what you just say, blackwash, not whitewash. I thought that they came out and they played a good game. I don't think the West Indies, from a tactical standpoint, maneuver the bowlers properly, because you can't bowl so much pace against the Australians, beg your pardon, in that power play. So I thought that Marsh and Finch, that partnership really solidified that big total in terms of 189. But really and truly at the end, I thought common sense should have prevailed and West Indies should have still won that game.
Vinod, let me come to you and ask you about Mitchell Marsh and how key a man he has been for the Australians. We have to be neutral. You look at the fact that he's got 3 half centuries from 4 innings, and then his value with the ball. We keep saying that this Australian team is not the top strength team. But there's some quality there, and March certainly oozed it and showed it in this entire series.
Yeah, definitely, Barry. You know, Michel Marsh continues to show that he is a quality all-rounder. He's had some good performances in the past. Again, trying to break into a full-strength Australian team is always difficult. But he has always shown the quality. He has done really well for Western Australia in the domestic tournament there. And, you know, he's showing his worth. He's showing consistency. And tonight it was all about him.
Tino, you look at the fact too that the West Indies, when they bowled, made some changes. You know, Fida Eloise was injured, O'Shane Thomas coming into the match. Did they bowl the correct line and length? And I'm talking specifically now about the fast bowlers. Did they bowl the correct line and length at March and Aaron Finch?
Well, Barry, I was shocked to see O'Shane Thomas looking so unfit, Barry. That's the honest truth. His run up looked horrible. He bowled like 3 or 4 no balls. He just looked like if he haven't played a cricket match in about 6 months, 7 months. I mean, he looked a bit overweight as well. And look, at the end of the day, it's all about a mindset. And when you are part of the West Indies and you put that badge on, you got to be in the best shape that you can be in to do well for West Indies. West Indies cricket is your bread and butter. You can't put yourself in a situation that when you get an opportunity, you look that way on television. It did not look good. I don't want to be too harsh on the coaches and the bowling coaches and stuff, but at the end of the day, players have to take responsibility for themselves. And O'Shane Thomas didn't look good at all today, Barry. I was so disappointed. And I was lost for words. Look, at the end of the day, I don't think he bowled the right length because I don't think he's fit. Plain and simple, Barry.
Tony Gray, you're a former fast bowler. You were a big fella yourself, perhaps not as fast as O'Shane Thomas. But to defend him, he hasn't played to Tino in a couple of months. He hasn't played for quite a while. So that is one of the things that might have gone wrong. But Tony Gray, come to the defense of O'Shane Thomas. Perhaps we didn't come back to Tino Best on that point.
Well, I think that it's much more than fitness, and I agree with Tino. I think that when fast bowlers are fitter, they will perform better, generally speaking. But I think that when you look at his run-up, he has been inconsistent with his run-up. And if he's inconsistent with his run-up, he cannot be consistent with his stride patterns and his deliveries. So that is the problem with him, in my opinion, and the bowling coaches need to work on that aspect of his fast bowling. Now, the thing about him is that he bowls from strength, physical strength, rather than momentum towards the wicket. And that's why he again was inconsistent. Now, if you're coming up against the Australian and you're inconsistent with line and length, you're going to be torn apart. And that's exactly what happened because he was too inconsistent today. So the problem with him is firstly his run-up, and the coaches had to deal with that. And then the other aspects of his game. He's got the strength, he's got obviously the speed, and he normally can outswing the ball to the right-hander, but we didn't see that today.
Tino, you had your hand up. What's the point you wanted to make?
Yeah, I wanted to come back to make this point, Barry. You're talking about he hasn't played cricket. Yes, we know he hasn't played cricket, Barry. But as a fast bowler, me being a former one, I'm bowling quicker than O'Shane Thomas back in my time. I always, even though I'm not playing cricket, Barry, I am always in the nets working on my run-up, working on my action, working, because whenever that opportunity comes, you want to hit the ground running, Barry. I don't care if we're in a pandemic. I don't care if you haven't played a serious cricket match in a year. If cricket is your bread and butter, you have to be fit 24/7. Barry, it's nothing to say, oh, but I ain't playing the cricket, so I can't run up and bowl the ball. Cricket is your life for 10 years. You got 10 years in this game. If you're so good, you got to be fit and ready every single time, Barry. And to see that young man today, the coaches can only do so much. The bowling coach can only tell you so much when you run up and stuff. What are you doing in Jamaica? What are you doing in the pandemic? Find a space. Do some fitness at home. You don't need a gym to be fit, Barry. They got something called high intensity, which is body weight movements. You can do those things at home and get yourself physically and mentally prepared that whenever West Indies call, you are fit and ready. It is your bread and butter, Barry. So don't tell me about he ain't play cricket in 6 months and he ain't play the games and that. No, I'm not accepting that at all. West Indies is your bread and butter. Treat it like how you would treat your girlfriend.
Well, I don't have a girlfriend, so I wouldn't know.
Show her love. You're gonna show the game love, like how you show your girlfriend love. Simple.
I'm surprised to hear you, Tino, say you were short on words. I just don't believe that. Look, when we come back, we're going to get Vinod Mamchand's take on the West Indies, how they batted, and the burning question of Chris Gill's inconsistency. We'll talk about that. Lots more to come. On tour. Stay with us.
Time to jump up, people, are you ready? Windies in the land, just put up your hands. The top is time to jump up, people, are you ready? Windies in the land, just...
Welcome back on tour then. The West Indies losing by some 4 runs as the series, of course, now at 3-1 with 1 game left. Vinod Mamchand, the Windies, how they batted. Let's start first of all with your countryman, Lendl Simmons, who I think is batting quite well. How did he appear on this occasion to you with Evan Lewis, another one of your countrymen?
But I will give my opinion on that batting performance tonight. I thought Lendl Simmons was excellent, and Evan Lewis fed off him and was also able to get going. I was a bit disappointed though, and I keep saying it all the time. The middle overs in a T20 game is so crucial. We tend to focus on the power play and the last couple overs, but the middle is so crucial, especially if you're chasing a big target. And I thought that although Lendl played well for 72, Evan Lewis needed to stay there a little longer with him. One of those guys needed to bat a little deeper, even deeper than Simmons did on this occasion. And you saw the game change when the Chris Gayle got out. And that was immediately after Evan Lewis. And I thought that if these guys had hung around for, let's say, 2-3 overs again, I don't think the West Indies would have lost by 4 runs.
Are you taking Chris Gayle to the World Cup? That's the question I'm asking you directly, Vinod.
I will take Chris Gayle. It's a psychological thing. He might not fire in all the games, but just having him on that team, it sends a message to the opposition. And you never know with Chris Gayle. Today I thought he went to fetch that delivery that was too wide outside the off stump and didn't really get his levers well connected as he would have liked. He didn't get the elevation. But I will carry him, Barry. I'll definitely do that.
And I put the same question now to Tino Best, and then I'll come to Tony Gray. Think about it, Tony. Tino, you're up.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's a no-brainer, Barry. Chris Gayle, that the presence in the dressing room it says a lot. And you definitely would call the universe boss as the self-proclaimed universe boss. And I think he earned that name as well. He's been phenomenal. Congratulations to him on 14,000 T20 runs. He's in uncharted waters when it comes to cricket. And as I say all the time, I think he's the greatest opener cricket has ever seen. To dominate all 3 formats, play 100 tests, play 300 one-days, and then to score 14,000 20 runs, Barry, is absolutely phenomenal. So I would definitely carry him to the World Cup. Just having him there says a lot. It speaks volume.
Tony Gray?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I got to see him in other games against Pakistan, especially. What we have is a great prelude to the World Cup because we are playing against different opposition. Now, Chris Gayle has just scored 50 runs in, I think, 11 games, which included the Sri Lankan games on a small ground. I mentioned that before. So I will have to wait and see if he can get back into form and could be a lot more consistent against the Pakistanis to make a decision. But we all know of his value. The psychological edge is what Vinod Mamchand mentioned. That's a factor. He's brought a lot of experience and obviously his destructive ability with the bat. But to me, I think that we cannot go on the pass. We have to go on form. So if he can get runs against Pakistan, I will take him. If not, I might not want to take him. Too much of a liability on the field.
All right, let's take in some thoughts from our viewers who have, of course, been sending us lots of messages. So let's go to them now and see what they're saying. This is a voice note coming to you from Jamaica. Let's have a listen.
I don't think much thought was put into this lineup, because when I look at the lineup, I look at a poor 11. It's not balanced, and I'm seeing a whole lot of out of form batsmen. Andre Fletcher was out of form, Pooran is out of form, and Chris Gayle is also out of form. There's 3 batsmen in the middle order that are out of form. Nicholas Pooran has had this tendency to play at little over a run and ball, and it's been going on for quite some time now. Fletcher has been scoring no runs. He went 6 off of 14 deliveries, and he decided to place him in the middle order where there is where we tend to struggle a lot in scoring runs. You decide to put an out of form batsman in the middle order. And then when you look at the bowling setup that was selected, Sheldon Cottrell, Oshane Thomas, Akil Hussain, and Hayden Walsh. Fine. That means you have Hayden Walsh leading the bowling attack. There's no death bowlers in the team. You have Fabian Allen bowling in the back end, and you have Russell bowling in the back end. Oshane was poor. He lacked how are you going to play 3 bowlers? 3 out of the 5 bowlers lack game time. How are you going to play 3 bowlers who lack game time together in 1-11? I don't think the goal was to win this match. Looking at this lineup, there is no goal to win this match.
Wonderful stuff. Well, this is a message coming from Antigua. Let's read this message. It says, bad decision not to take the single off the second ball of that last over. Walsh is not a rabbit, and needing 10 from 4 is better than 11 from 4. And the worst, Russell would have been back on strike, needing 9 from 3 balls. You said it earlier, Vinod. I don't think we need to perhaps go over that. But thank you so much there from Antigua, making a very good point. This question is for Mr. Tony Gray. Good night, Mr. Gray. Why is it that Darren Bravo and Jason Holder have not been selected for the T20s against South Africa and Australia? Tony, take that question first, please.
Yeah, that's a very good question, because Darren Bravo was excellent for the TKR team in the CPL. And we need a batsman who could rotate strike in the middle. We often talk about our deficiency in that department. So I think that, Darren Bravo should be looked at. But, the game is about matchups. So even if we have him to come and bat and combat the spinners during the middle parts of the overs, you will have fast bowlers coming at him. I don't think that the oppositions are going to put spinners against Darren Bravo, because he can play them quite well. So we have to look at that. You talk about Jason Holder, for example. I think that he's an excellent all-round cricketer. I think that he has loads and loads of experience. And, he can get wickets, especially with the older ball. I think that he's very astute with the older ball. And obviously, he can give you those cameo-type innings. The other thing that is quite apparent with him is his ability to work the ball in the middle parts of the innings. So I think that Jason Holder is going to be key for the West Indies team in the World Cup.
Wonderful stuff. Thank you so much. When we come back, we're going to hear from Mitchell Marsh, the man of the match, and also the 2 captains as they have their say on tour.
It's time to jump up, people, are you ready? Windies in the land, just put up your hands. It's time to jump up, people, are you ready? Windies in the land, just...
Many congratulations on a double career best with bat and with ball. Let's start with the batting first of all. 75, a match-winning knock. You knew that you needed to get much more than just those 2 50s than that first game, didn't you?
Yeah, it's certainly something that we've spoken about, and I think it's big having the responsibility of batting in the top 3. Stats suggest that if someone gets over 60, you win more than you lose. So that's something that we've spoken about. Someone going on with it, and it was a great partnership with Finchy tonight.
And you started off aggressively, some good short bowling from Oshane Thomas. The conditions out there suited you?
I thought the new ball came on really well tonight. We saw that with both teams, so certainly saw that as an opportunity to try and get ahead early. It was. I've grown up at the Wacker, so I love fast bowling, but it was a bit of fun.
And with the ball career best, like I mentioned, a 3-4, how was that?
It was obviously, I think it was just a great all-round performance from all of our bowlers. To defend what we defended tonight against a very good West Indies teams was a great performance, and it's always nice to get a couple of wickets.
We didn't start properly, I would say. The momentum shifted in the fourth over when, Ocean bowled and those couple no balls. But that's fine. I think, myself, didn't make an attempt to catch Finchy there in the power play. That was a big setback. We let them get away from us. But we accepted that because it's a good wicket as well. We made some mistakes. We didn't execute as good as we wanted to, but that's fine.
Let's talk a little bit about O'Shane Thomas. You mentioned that fourth over where he went for 25. Did you expect that sort of performance, or what can we expect from him?
He started really good for us. He give us that energy and that early wicket. It's unfortunate in the power play. Batsmen are targeting you, but it's fine. He's a young guy and he has a lot to learn as well. He's talented.
And with the chase, you guys were in it almost to the very end, to the last over, actually. What could you have done differently to get over the line?
Not much. Maybe we could get a problem here, a bit more singles in the middle overs. But that's fine, chasing 189, getting to 185, that's fine, That last over was well executed by Mitchell Starc, so well bowled him. Another day, we could have easily won the game, but that's okay.
And positives from this game has to be Hayden Walsh Jr. once again, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. The way Hayden bowled, well bowled to him again, Fabian Allen with the bat in the end, he looked like Superman there for a minute. So a lot of positives. The guys, fielded well again. So a lot of positives.
It's a really good all-round performance. I thought our bowlers showed a lot of character, especially towards the back end. It's never easy against guys that have got great reputations and huge power. We stuck at it the whole way. I thought they got away in the power play, obviously, but that happens in T20 cricket. And
before this game, you only had 150-plus partnership. Today, you bettered that. 114 between yourself and Mitch Marsh. What was the discussion like out in the middle?
We were just feeding off each other. I think the way that Mitch got off to a flyer allowed me to sort of sit back and look to rotate, almost minimise my risks to allow Mitch to keep going. And then we got to the point of that rain break and Lendl bowled that over. So it was a chance for both of us to really try and accelerate. And then getting out not long after that wasn't ideal. But, yeah, Mitch put us in a great position, especially with the way that he started.
All right, wonderful stuff. Gentlemen, any changes to the team for the last T20? I'll start with you first of all. Tino Best, and come down the order.
Not at all. You got to give the guys a run. I would like to see an improvement from O'Shane Thomas. I don't know how quickly he can improve that run-up. Roddy Asway got his work cut out for him with that run-up. I just heard, because I am a big O'Shane Thomas fan, and it just hurts my heart to see him on the TV looking, he doesn't look fit, he doesn't look like in fast bowling shape. I know he's only 20, but at the end of the day, you want to be a cricketer. You want to be in cricket shape. And I know I'm just a little disappointed to see him like that, but I will give him another run. Hope that he can improve somewhat. He's still got the Pakistan series to look forward to, so I wouldn't change the team. I'll keep it as it is. And I just want you guys to continue to use the head, and that's it. The ball is in their court. They're the best T20 team in the world in terms of pure talent, but they have to execute on the day. Cricket don't play on paper.
Vinod, your thoughts? Any changes for your
I want to agree with Bessie on this occasion. I think that if the West Indies selectors would have given rest to players like Bravo and these guys, Hetmyer and all of these men, I would like to see the same team go back out onto the field, give them that opportunity. The series is done and dusted, and you want to give as many players an opportunity to play. There's also a thought that you may want to win this final game as well, so you may want your strongest team on the park, because going into a future series you want to end on a high note. But all in all, I think Barry, they may well go back with the same team.
And last but not least, Tony Gray?
Yeah, I think that Hetmyer should play the last game if he's fit. The thing about Hetmyer is that you want him to get in the mood of batting intelligently. We saw him in the first game. He got 20-odd runs, and he was balanced in his approach to batting. And with that wonderful partnership in the second game of 103 with Dwayne Bravo, I thought, he's developing that type of temperament that we want from the number 3, number 4 batsman. So I want him to play again if he's fit. But other than that, I wouldn't make too many changes to the team, because I like the fact that Hayden Walsh Jr. is getting a good run. A wrist spinner needs that at this level of the game, and he can play a key role for the West Indies team in the World Cup. So good team, but I would want to see Hetmyer come back and play the type of role that we saw in the first 2 games that he played in this series.
Wonderful stuff. Tony Gray, Vinod Mamchan, and Tino Best. The last T20 is on Friday, and we'll be back on tour. Until then, I'm Barry Wilkinson. Bye-bye for now.